Good morning, peeps. I've been up since 6. I've done my, as soon as I opened my eyes, I did my step work, as directed by the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. We're actually told what to do on awakening. It doesn't say get up, have a cup of tea, bacon sandwich, mooch about a bit, and then at some point during the morning, do some step work. It says on awakening. So I'm just going to share with you this morning what the first thing I do when I wake up and open my eyes. I pick up my telephone and open the AA app, and there's part of the app there that says on awakening. I'm just going to let you know. On awakening, let us think. I've got to read this, by the way. Sorry, rumbling. Still early. On awakening, let us think about the 24 hours ahead. So we think about what we're doing for the next day. We consider our plans for the day. I know what I'm doing today. I've got my plans. I have a to-do list that I tick off during the day of everything that I want to get done, and I put it into things I need to do, things I would like to, things that I would like to do, and things that would be nice to do. So we consider our plans for the day. Before we begin, we ask God, like I said before, if you want to use the term higher power, Allah, Buddha, the great universal consciousness, or if you're a Douglas Adams fan, the great green Alka-Seltzer, you can do that. We ask God to direct our thinking. So we ask our thinking to be directed, especially asking that it be divorced from self-pity. We're good at that, alcoholics. Dishonest or self-seeking motives. We're also very good at that when we're in the throes of the madness of addiction. We are dishonest. We are self-seeking. So we ask God that our thinking be divorced from self-pity, dishonesty, or self-seeking. Under these conditions, we can employ our mental faculties with assurance. After all, God, higher power, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, gave us brains to use. We have a brain. We should use it. It's like any muscle. If you don't exercise it, it just rots. And unfortunately, and I've seen it, this disease causes, after a very long period of time, wet brain. It's a scientific fact that long-term alcoholism produces a form of alcoholic dementia. Our thought life will be placed on a much higher plane when our thinking is cleared of wrong motives. So when you don't think of wrong motives, you actually think of better things. In thinking about our day, we may face indecision. We may not be able to determine which course to take. How many times have we do I do this? Do I do that? Do I do this? And especially when you're drinking. Here we ask God God, again, whatever you want to call it. I use the term God, I believe in God, for inspiration and intuitive thought or decision. Okay? So we ask for some guidance. What do I do here? Close your eyes, meditate on it. You will get the right answer from your higher power. We relax and take it easy. We don't struggle. We're often surprised how the right answers come after a while, right? After we tried this for a while. I used to run around a lot like a headless chicken and being busy and sometimes achieving nothing. One thing about working the program it does slow you down. And you do take it easy and relax because you're no longer running the show. Remember that. We're no longer running the show. That's the important thing. What used to be a hunch or the occasional inspiration gradually becomes a working part of the mind. Being still inexperienced and just having made conscious contact with God, it is not probable that we're going to be inspired all of the time. All right? That's the truth. Sometimes we're not going to be inspired. Other times we are. We might pay for this presumption in all sorts of absurd actions and ideas. The amount of mad plans I had, especially when I was in business, whilst I was in the throes of addiction, and absurd ideas I'd come out with were unbelievable. Thank the Lord that today I'm not like that. Nevertheless, we find our thinking will, as time passes, be more and more on the plane of inspiration. We come to rely on it. We actually do get much more inspiration. Sane inspiration, not insane inspiration. We usually conclude a period of meditation with a prayer that will be shown throughout the day on what our next step is to be. Personally, I do the prayers that are laid out in the app and the big book, and then I meditate. People, that's a lot of work. My meditation lasts about 3 minutes. All right. I timed it this morning from opening my eyes to doing the work to meditating took 15 minutes. If you can't put 15 minutes a day in the morning into your recovery, then, what's the point? I put more than 15 minutes a day into drinking, or in the morning into drinking, Once we've concluded that with prayer, we will be given the answer we need to take care of such problems. We especially ask for freedom from self-will, and we're careful to make no request for ourselves only. Praying isn't about asking for a new convertible Mercedes or for you. We don't ask. It doesn't work like that. Your higher power doesn't give things just because you ask for it. We might, we got to understand that. We may ask for ourselves, however, if others will be helped. You pray for a bit of guidance to go out and spread the message of recovery, to help those that are suffering. We are careful never to pray for our own selfish ends. Many of us have wasted a lot of time doing so, and it doesn't work. You can easily see why. If circumstances warrant, we ask our wives or friends to join us in morning meditation. If you want to ask your wife or your friend to meditate with you, you can do that. I live alone, it's me, so I just meditate alone. If we belong to a religious denomination, whatever religious denomination that is, which requires a morning devotion, a definitive morning devotion, we attend that also. So if you're somebody that, for instance, I have a friend that goes to Mass every morning, Catholic Mass every morning. Once they've woken up and done their step work, they'll make their way to Mass, okay? If we're not members of religious bodies, we sometimes select and memorize a few set prayers which emphasize the principles we've been discussing. So if you're not religious and you want to ask your higher power to help you get through the day after you've said the set work, the set prayers which are set out, nothing wrong with that, and you can replace the word God in any of the prayers. You don't have to use the word him, and you don't have to, you can use her, it, what have you. And don't forget, this book was written a long time ago, and a lot of the prayers are older prayers, and the these, the thys, and the those, you can replace those words, There's also many helpful books, helpful videos, that you can also watch during the morning if you want to. Again, talking to a priest, a minister, a rabbi, and you can see what some of these people may have to offer. So what some of the YouTube videos may have to offer, providing they're sharing the message, the 12-step message. Do not, there's so much rubbish out there that will confuse you. It works, it really does. We alcoholics are undisciplined. Well, isn't that the truth? We're the most undisciplined creatures on the planet. So we let God discipline us, God, higher power, whatever you want to call it, in the simplest way we've just outlined. But this is not all. There is more action and more action. Faith without works is dead. That's a biblical quote, but it's used in AA. There's no point in believing you're sober. Without doing something about it, you won't stay sober. Faith without works is dead. And that is a chapter on awakening from the big book of AA, or the book of Alcoholics Anonymous, which we call the big book. That's the on awakening bit. I read that bit first thing when I open my eyes, and then I move on forwards, which I'll run through in another video, probably tomorrow. Anyway, peeps, I'm up, it's 7 o'clock. I'm about to finish my cup of tea, my second of the morning, and walk to the bus stop where I'm going to go and meet a very good friend from church for our Saturday morning cup of coffee and catch up. Just have a good day, peeps. We got 24 hours ahead of us, and we only have to stay sober for 24 hours. No one's telling you to stay sober for the rest of your life. Just for the next 24 hours. And anyone new in recovery, do it hourly. I did when I came back into recovery. My first few days, can I make it till 9 o'clock? Yes, I did. I'll reward myself with a piece of shortbread and a cup of tea. Now, can I make it till 10 o'clock? And the hours click by. And it's the same with the 24-hour principle. Years of sobriety have been made up by lots of 24 hours. Just remember that. Don't ever think you can't ever drink again, because you do that and your brain will go, whoa, only for today. Just ask the grace for today. Take care, peeps. God bless you all. And have a great Saturday, great weekend. And let's keep working that program of action. Because if you work it, it works.